It is June 9th, 2018. We're here at 3611 Florence Street in San Diego, California, 92113. We did not see any cleanouts for the main sewer at the ground level, so we came up here on the rooftop, and this is the 3-inch original cast iron vent, which would be over the toilet, which would lead to the beginning of the sewer main. Now, as we come down this pipe here, we have an issue. So you can see right here that this line is either completely all blocked up or it's been capped. We can actually see a fruit or tree nut, looks like, and then a little metal disc right there. I don't think that's a coin, looks like a disc. And then you can see some other debris. It's all just sitting in here. So we're only a few feet down the pipe. We pull back up. Sorry. Our distance counter is pulled out to 1310 because we have more of our cable pulled out for the push rod. But as we go down here just a few feet, you can see it's completely capped or built up. Now, we're not enough footage down that should be a bunch of cast iron flakes blocking the entire vent. Yes, it's possible. So it seems more like it's been capped off or abandoned, and this is some debris on that cap. But that needs to be opened up and determined whether or not that is debris that can be removed. You don't want that to fall down the sewer pipe is the only problem. If you use a metal snake to try to flush that out, it's going to fall right into the sewer system. Then the other problem is, of course, if it is capped off, then there is no vent for the toilet. And so that's completely out of code and would need to be repaired by pulling the toilet and opening up the wall to determine where the lines are running to and from or where they were abandoned to and from. So we cannot get into the main sewer from here. This is going to need to be corrected. As we come out of this vent here, we're going to pan across the rooftop here, and you can see there's another 1.5-inch ABS newer vent right there, and that seems to be directly over the tub. Then as we look over, we have right past that little squared vent off for the stove, we have another 1.5-inch vent. That's for the kitchen. As we pan, look farther across, kind of hard to see, but there's another 1.5-inch ABS plastic vent. That's for the laundry that was installed or added or modified for sure. Now, we do know that there's a clean out on the laundry at the ground level, but we're going to go ahead and pause the video and move over to this other 1.5-inch vent that's still in the alignment of the bathroom and seems to be off the tub area. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we just went down that 3-inch vent. Now we moved over here. This is a newer 1.5-inch ABS vent. We did notice right here, you can see that little curved chewed out area on the pipe. So either somebody has snaked this line to clear it, or they put a camera down possibly. It's a little wear indicator mark. So we're going down this 1.5-inch pipe. Apologize, our cord's a little wrapped up on their gas line on the rooftop here. Okay, here we have a T-junction right here. So we're assuming that this is the vent that they're utilizing for the lavatory sink, and it may continue over and catch the toilet. Again, a toilet has to be a 2-inch or larger vent. This is 1.5 inch. Not the end of the world, but it's just not to code. But we don't even know if that is tying in. We will go ahead and try to put another camera, a small one, down that T-junction there and see if it continues over to 2 fixtures or not. So as we come down here, coming to the bottom of this vent, this should lead directly into the drain line. And looks like we've got some standing water there in the line. We're dropping into the T-junction. This looks like they used an improper sanitary T on its back. You're required to go, when you're going from vertical to horizontal, you have to use a Y fitting, which essentially creates a long sweep and a turn on the system to send your cable or camera, in this case, the direction of flow. So we don't know why there's standing water there. There should never be any standing water in a drain or sewer system. Everything is required to have a 1/4 inch of downhill slope for every foot it travels. So this camera we have here is a very large one, for the push rod at least. It's a 1-inch camera. We're not going to try to make this turn with this camera. We're going to have to go ahead and use another smaller camera. But what we'll do is we're going to run a little bit of water through the tub, and we're going to see if that's the tub drain itself coming across really quick where the standing water's at. So we're going to pause the video and go turn on the tub. Okay, we have the bathtub running right now. This water's not really moving. We have it at a very good rapid pace on the cold side through that tub faucet, and it's not really moving down the line. So we don't know what was done here, and in fact it actually looks like this water's building up, and it is in fact. So as you see, we pull back our camera. If you watch some of the edges on the wall with some of the debris, you can actually see that this water is actually filling up just slightly, just slowly creeping up the wall. So either there's a partial stoppage, or this was plumbed very poorly. It should not be doing this, obviously. So it sounds like that little wear indicator mark we saw on the rooftop must have been somebody having to snake and clean out this line. In fact, you can see all this white sludginess. This is kind of all the soap scum and other debris from the drain. So that's been filling up inside the pipe and leaving the residue on the wall of the pipe. So again, we just have the cold water running right now, and you can see that water is just constantly filling up just slightly. We'll back up the camera so you can see here it's coming up to that little hub, and you can see it's about to come up and fill up that now actually. So it's slowly creeping up here to a certain height. There it goes. It's just, so something's definitely wrong with this system, the way it was plumbed, as well as possible backup or buildup that's going to constantly occur on this line, or that is needing right now to be cleaned out and snaked with some preventive maintenance at the bare minimum at this point. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and shut the tub water off and move over to the next fixture. Okay, we've now shut off the water, and we have a smaller camera that has a much more flexible push rod. We've got some string tied off on the end to hopefully steer our camera down across that other vent T-junction we saw to try to determine if that's headed towards both the sink and the toilet. If not, then that means that the toilet literally has no vent whatsoever at this point in time from what we can tell. Okay, here's our T-junction. We're going to have to go ahead and try to maneuver our camera where our string is at in a little different angle. There we go. Alright, so there we go. We just made it across that. Now here is another T-junction right immediately there. So we assume that one is going towards the lab and this other one's going towards the toilet. We're just going to push through the one that we can get by. We're going to cut our string, so we may eventually see our string being pulled back. Okay, now we have another T-junction there. So I don't know why we'd have a third T-junction on one vent for 3 fixtures, but there's something there. And then it looks like we're coming up to another 90-degree turn. And we're not going to be able to probably make that or put it. Looks like right there you can see we're in some debris, so we might be in part of the drain line. It's hard to say. So it looks like the vent pipes are connected to everything. It looks like they at least do have something connected to the toilet based on all the T-junctions we saw, but we can't say exactly how things are run. There's not many requirements for the vent pipes other than the size. So right now, again, the size of the toilet vent is out of code. But it appears it does have a vent, but again, we can't tell that because there's no way to see its intersection to the toilet, and there's no way to go ahead and notice that because we don't have a vertical assembly to connect off of right above the toilet to check it. The wall would have to be opened up, and certainly that's not going to happen. Okay, so pulling our camera back out, we're going to go ahead and pause the video before we move to the next vent. Okay, so that was the tub vent we just went down, which does seem to luckily be connecting most everything in the bathroom. We still don't know why water's building up in that one part of the pipe when the tub is run, Again, we don't know if it's due to buildup, a stoppage, or improper plumbing. Based on some of the fittings and what we're seeing right here, we can see that it was not plumbed exactly to code, so it could just be that issue. So we're now right here over the water heater area, and that's where the laundry was added or modified. Now the clean out we checked down at the ground level is an access point that enters into the horizontal pipe. It doesn't go straight vertical down. The T-junction is laid on its side, so it's not going to be a good access point for the large camera to still try to get into the main. Now same thing as on the tub vent. We can see right here this little notch out. Got a tiny one and then a bigger one. That's another, again, a wear indicator mark that either the lines had to have been snaked and cleared from the roof vent, or somebody possibly put a camera down, but it's usually an indicator mark. So we'll see if this... Okay, looks like we immediately go into a 90 or a turn fitting here. Now we've got a lot of debris on our camera face here, cobwebs and whatnot. So we're going to pull our camera back out really quick. We only went down a few feet. I'll wipe that off here. Again, they're allowed to do as many turns and twists on a vent pipe, so it's not going to be out of code like that. It's just going to be really hard. So you can see there's another 90 right there. So we're not going to be able to do anything from this vent stack. So we'll have to go down to the ground level and try to look across for the laundry and see if we can get to any part of the system by doing that. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and move over to the kitchen vent. Okay, so right here above the kitchen, that's the exhaust vent fan top for the stove. Here's our access for our kitchen vent. We'll see what kind of connection this is. Again, this is newer plastic ABS, and the house definitely would have been all metal piping. So here's a 90 turn on the system, a little bit of cobwebs or debris. Looks like we have another 90 here. Now it looks like we're headed vertically down. Looks like we have another turn on the system or some debris. Yeah, it looks like another turn on the system already. So this is getting close to below where the pipe would enter into the system, but we're not going to be able to go ahead and access the kitchen drain line from here either because of the alternate turns they put on the vent, probably from what it was originally done, possibly, we don't know. So we're not going to be able to get far down this line either, so we're going to have to go ahead and go over to the laundry and see if we have any access to get into the sewer system from that vent. Okay, so we moved over here to the side yard, and right next to the water heater closet, here's our, again, that laundry access clean out. Now you can see instead of it going in and going directly down into the vertical, it is actually going into a horizontal line. And then same thing, I'll try to back this up. This horizontal junction is actually a sanitary T on its side, not a combo, so that's not the code. Again, not the end of the world, just a clean out, but it's supposed to force everything the right direction out. Luckily, it's close enough that we can steer it, that initial one. Now here's the next fitting. So this is going to lead directly going up for the vertical vent and down for the drain. So this is what we need to hopefully steer down and across and see most of the piping system now. So this is all new plastic ABS so far to this point. I don't believe there's a crawl space. I think this is all slab, so somebody must have had to jackhammer and open this up to be able to do this. This is all newer plastic pipe. Here's a turn on the line. And it looks like this is probably a T-junction coming off from the kitchen, or even some of the bathroom. My guess is the kitchen possibly. You can see some particulate there that looks like it might be food debris. We're going to go ahead and kind of push our camera quickly through this turn to see if we can make this down. Okay, so we just got down the pipe. We don't know if that is headed in the right direction. We suspect it is, but there's no way to guarantee. We've got some debris hanging off the top there, so maybe that's where, if we're headed across, where the kitchen or the tub possibly even dumps into the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pause the video while we go turn on the kitchen sink, see if any of that water flows in front of us or behind at all. Okay, so we have kitchen water running, and we can see we just had water, and it's actually flowing at us. It's coming towards the camera head. So this is why we mentioned that it's very important to use combo and Y fittings for T-junctions, and you're not allowed to use sanitary T's, because when you put a cable or camera down the line, it's going to feed you the proper direction, the direction of flow of things leaving. In this case, as you can see, we actually have water coming at us. And again, same thing, it's really building up in the pipe real heavily, not flowing very fast. So my guess is the same thing, they weren't able to achieve real good proper slope or have wrong turns and fittings on the system underground when this was done. So you can see the water is just filled up with and debris is just kind of floating. We don't see movement. We've got a decent heavy stream on the cold water of the kitchen faucet right now. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we just shut the water off, and we want to leave the video recording here just to show the standing water in the system. This should have drained out within a second, obviously, and you can see we've got all this just kind of floating around. So we'll see if we get any movement here, how long it takes. Now it looks like it's actually kind of sucking back forward and face the camera, and then kind of just vibrates around. So we can't tell if this is the right direction to flow, and all that water that was backing up is due to, again, improper slope or a weird T-fitting placed in a reverse direction of where it's catching one fixture to the next. So, again, things obviously can function, but it doesn't appear any of the fittings and everything was put into code. You can see we still have standing water. I mean, this should have drained out a long time ago. So, don't know what's going on. We're going to go ahead and try to push down the line. I'm not going to probably get very far because, again, as you can see that water floating on the top of the pipe there. It's just sitting there. It's not going down, kind of like how the bathtub line was. And again, this, you know, is not supposed to be occurring on a system here. So you can see all this debris we're coming up on. It's always going to build up like this because things aren't flowing and draining out. So a very strange system, the way this was piped and redone, because it was not the original plumbing. Somebody redid this. We're going to go ahead and pause the video now, and we're going to go ahead and walk the perimeter again one more time and see if there's any sewer main cleanouts, because our other concern, of course, is that we need to get into the sewer main itself. I don't believe, based on the toilet that's here, we're going to be able to get a camera through the toilet itself and that down the main, but we'll try that if we have to. We're going to pause the video. Okay, we've moved into the bathroom because, again, we've walked the perimeter of the property. We found no cleanouts on the front lawn, on the side of the kitchen, or any other spot. So the homeowners here, we will ask them, but we came into the bathroom as a last resort. It's rare that this can work, especially based on what the toilet we see here, but we have a specialty camera that can get through toilet bowls in some instances, and sometimes actually even farther out down the line. So we're going to see if this will be able to do anything, since we may not have any other opportunity. So you can see here we're coming across the toilet. Here's the end of the bowl where it dumps into the main. You can see here it's into the actual cast iron. We're going to go ahead and flush the toilet, see if that can help get across these turns. Usually it's very rare we're going to be able to get super far. Every once in a while we can, but now we're hitting this hard 90-degree turn here, and that's not going to let us push through any part of the system to get down into the main sewer across here. So we'll go ahead and pull this camera slowly back out here. So again, it's a little bit of the cast iron original pipe there. That's the downward turn it should be making. Let's see if that's look one more time across this. So this is the bottom elbow. This is a 90-degree elbow, and then this should run across towards the wall. Let's see if we can get this through. There we go. So this runs across, and this would head over towards the wall, and then it would be a T-junction going up for the vent and down for the drain. Same thing, we got a little bit of standing water in the pipe there. Not really supposed to be the case, but try to push this a few inches forward. There we go. Looks like we actually got down part of the line. I don't see how it was connected into a vent there. We are into part of the sewer system, so we're going to see if we can keep pushing across here. We're into the main. So luckily our camera is making its way down. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the cold water of the lab sink. This should be entering into the line, possibly behind the camera already, unless it was piped with the T-junction just a little bit farther down the line where it catches it. So this water will help push our camera and reduce the friction. So here comes the water right now. We're going to flush our toilet one time as well. We might lose our view, but this is going to help try to get this camera farther out. We're still moving down the line, so this is a good thing. Looks like we have a T-junction there, and then we're into clay pipe already. And we can see we have a root intrusion in the line right there. Again, we're going to keep pushing as much as we can. So this has worked really good. We have another root intrusion there. See, we have more roots intruding on the line right here. And more there. So we have clay pipe across a major portion of this system. And as you can see, we have roots intruding at almost every hub connection. Clay pipe comes in just typically 4-foot lengths, and it's not glued or banded or sealed. It's just pushed together with a rubber boot that's greased up, so it's the most susceptible pipe for root intrusions. So we're going to flush the toilet one more time, see if we can get out a little bit further, but we're lucky to have gotten out as far as we have. So, okay, there you go, water running through. See, we got a little bit of roots intruding there, some buildup on that hub. And well, that's about it. We're out actually almost 40 feet from the toilet as it is, or a little short of that, but it's amazing we got out from here. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and stop the water running and go ahead and locate the line and mark this out. So what we're going to do is, we don't know farther down the line, of course there could be more, but it doesn't really matter at this point because we know there are some. So we're going to pull back just a little bit to this hub here, right on the edge of the hub, and we're going to go ahead and locate this. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so again, we're out quite a distance, and this is a very small, unique camera that was able to get through the toilet and into the main. The sonde that transmits the beacon to locate it's a lot weaker because of how small this is. So right now we cannot determine that location right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep pulling back. Let me go ahead and see if we can push back forward those few feet again. We're going to just take snapshot photos of this really quick here. These intrusions we're able to get out to. So now we're going to keep pulling back. And we're going to pull all the way back to the cast iron pipe, or at least one of the last hubs on the clay, to see if that depth, being close enough in the front yard, we'll be able to locate that, because that's where the clean out's going to need to be put in anyway. So you can see this next intrusion here. This is our third intrusion right there in the clay pipe. Coming back, here's our fourth. There's some roots there. This would be our fifth intrusion. It looks like this is the actual cast iron pipe again, so this is where we want to go ahead and hopefully locate this on the property. This needs to be dug up and 2 clean outs installed. So we're going to pause the video and try to locate this. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located this, and what we found is actually the line doesn't go to Florence Street. Even though there's a manhole on right in front of this house in the street, this line actually goes through the backyard to the alleyway. And so right here where we're at is about 1.5 feet deep. We're going to mark this with some green paint and a stake in the ground. It's just under some of the bushes beyond the foundation wall of the house, the back side of the 1 bedroom. So this clay pipe that it turns into right here, again, this is going to need some obvious maintenance on a constant basis, because otherwise it's expensive, obviously, to dig it up, replace it all, or line it. So this clean out needs to be put in. So what we're going to do now is continue to pull back on the line. So that laundry line and other tub line, we're going to see if we see any of those T-junctions possibly where those have connected into, if anything was redone. So you can see right there, there's our old cast iron pipe. That's where the clean outs need to be put in to be able to clean out what's currently there and then be able to maintain this. So we're coming back across this, moving back probably just through the foundation wall of the house now, around there, coming back in. Right now the cast iron does look intact and fully functional. Not finding anything wrong with this part of the main itself that would need any attention, at least so far. Okay, we're coming back up now through the one little spot that's holding a little bit of water, and that might be where some of the lines dump into. Right, here we go. Yeah, that's our turn on the line that dumps into off the toilet. So coming back out through the toilet now. We'll wipe off our camera lens here. So again, here we are in the bathroom. We're able to get through there. So now we're going to pause the video and move our camera to outside where the clean outs need to be installed. Okay, so we're here in the backyard, and so to the right of that trailer, again, that is the path of the sewer line. So it comes back over across here. Here you can see we have some yellow and red discs. This denotes the path. We've sprayed paint, some green paint on the ground. That's the path of the pipe. And as you can see right here, we have a little stake in the ground. Get our camera lens off. There we go. So that's where the cast ends and the clay begins. That connection point at 18 inches deep. And that's about 5 feet away from the edge of the house there. You can see underneath these bushes. And then after it turns into clay, we've got all these root intrusions all the way down the line. We couldn't get all the way out, but obviously that would be done, look the rest of the way once it's cleaned and maintained, once the clean outs are put in. So we're going to go ahead and just look across the rest of the yard and the alleyway, make sure see if there's any other property line cleanouts in the alleyway. So we're going to pause the video for 1 second. Okay, so we've looked over the fence, and there is in fact no cleanouts anywhere on the property, on the clay pipe, even at the property line or in the alleyway. We can see in the middle of the alleyway the trench line for the sewer for all the neighbors, including this property, but no cleanouts. So this line needs to have some maintenance done for the main sewer, and as far as the other out-of-code issues, those would be kind of difficult to repair, so that will be up to the purchaser's discretion as how they want to proceed with those issues. So that concludes this recording.